There we go, back into our project. I'm going to need a new factory. I'm going to build it in Archana. I'm going to guess it'll fit in a medium. I'm going to go medium 1, steel presses. Gives us 931 cars. That doesn't tell the whole story. We're just going to sign off on it right away. I'm going to go into engineering management, and here's where it gets more interesting. Let's see, tool process will leave, reliability will leave. We bump the funding up and drop the pressure. We can get under 5 years. That's a lot of cars. Can we get away from the steel presses? No. Because we need them for the panel material. A lot of cars. I don't want to lower the automation since that increases the cost of the car is to build. I mentioned it really doesn't stop that much. So let's spend a little on this factory. 240. Under 140 million. Let's go for the usual 65. I want to start naming these factories. In case I drop it off, I know kind of where this factory came in along the line. Can't adjust this one because it's being built right now. So if we drop the tooling a bunch, how bad does it hurt? Oh wow, it slaughters the production units. So we'll leave it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to drop it a bit. Bump up the reliability a little bit. Maybe the process, which also, coincidentally, lowers the amount that are built. Drop the pressure a little bit. We're down to an even 25. Go to the engine project. Oh, I almost forgot. How many cars we got? 3,300. Good grief. We have our car project. I have to do the same thing for it. Do a medium. 1, Forge Works. There's not enough cars. Or engines. But I have a feeling it's like the car. We got a lot out of tooling and management. We need about 3,300. That is not 3,300. Drop the pressure, we got plenty of time. Can we bump up the tooling? Oh yeah, that takes way too long though. Could save money on the factory side, but I don't think we're going to do that. I have the settings about where I want it though, so we can easily just bump it up. Gets us close. And that overshoots it by a lot. We'll do the 2, medium 2. We'll tweak this up a bit. Get Get it up above that 3,300. We'll throw more money at the project. Put a little bit of pressure onto the team. It comes in under 5 years. Sign off on the engine. Extend it, take a look. Yeah, that's about what we want. That won't help, it'll hurt. Hopefully we can sell that many. That's not what it looks. Oh, it didn't save the fixtures. Hopefully it exported. The fixtures don't matter in game. So we're looking. Oh yeah, I had some of the practice engines. Those are our 2 projects. Don't care about those ones. In fact, let's go back. Delete. I had a question about how reliable and costly the difference of 2 identical iron and aluminum block engines were. Let's see, what engines are we using? We can do a facelift. Just made this one. Trying to remember the color coding. Blue, I think, means made in 56. What is this being used on? 2 trims. I think that's tooling out then. I'll go back. This one's being used for the Grumble, I think. Yeah, because the original 46 engine. Definitely want to do a facelift for it. What do we do for this facelift? We added ForgeWorks? That's silly. We added no ForgeWorks to everything. Get a little bit more compression. Let's go ahead and pause it there. ForgeWorks. Single barrel, eco. Now if I increase compression, got to check, 15.5. 15.2 with good fuel efficiency, 15.3. Now we're better off with the more advanced timing. A little bit more RPM limits to work with. Looking at the performance, we can get that up to 15.7, 15.8, and back to 7. We're really just increasing the red line for the grumbles. Might be worth actually advancing the timing a little bit more. First, the fuel economy gets us up to 22 horsepower. And also re-engineer it. Give it long tubular headers. No need for a muffler. Does help fuel economy though. And only hurts efficiency or the top end a little bit. So yeah, let's A little bit of engineering on this one. I'll give her a quick listen. Sounds about the same as she ever did. She's already got her factory. I'm going to do anything different on that factory. Oh, add the forge works. Building 3200. We'll leave it at that. But really, what we have to do is take a look at the car. So we're going back to the Grumble. Really, I should have done it through this. That is the project. So we'll do a facelift. Can't believe I'm doing a facelift for these things, but they still sell. Ditch the old engine, put the new one in. Man, it's doing really well. So the safety rating on this 10. It's good enough. Oh man, just hideous as I remember. Can't fit a front wheel drive in there. Don't want a manual. We'll drop the speed a little bit. My new standard. Squeeze the gears, which they actually agreed to somewhat. Switch to radials? Nope. That's simply because it throws off the drivability. Might be. Bump up the tires slightly. That puts her almost more than what we had before. Brakes are already pretty solidly plain. Single shoe, two shoe. I prefer that. Just keep it more on the back tires. Aerodynamics, no new reason to change them. 2 seats, basic. Yeah. Maybe a little power steering? No? A little safety maybe? We'll give it standard 40s. That'll get it above 20. Which will be good for selling to Fruinia. I need to shift that. This is the old design, so I can't really adjust the drivability of the camber the way I liked to adjust drivability. We're at 97.6, 98.4. $120s, that's close. Wow, you can really offset. Actually, that looks silly. A little bit stiffer spring. We'll leave it at the lower setting. Get the dampers a little bit better. Tweak them in. Almost like making a whole new car. Tiniest of front sway bars. I'll tune it in. Go for 1,800 pound load. Has it improved any? Survey says 406. And that is a... Oh yeah, I never did this with the automation stick, so I don't have that written down. That's alright. Got it set up. Skating, are we gonna keep this one around? Not a family sport vehicle. Oh, and I left the... Bring that up to 60 standard. PV. What was PV? Passenger van? Who likes this right now? I'm not gonna get much love over there. It's not much of a city car, but we could go for the utility budget, even with the penalty to the body being 20%. So let's target it that way. Definitely prefers a manual that way. Still only 2 gears. Do the same as before, we're looking at 79. Facing at least 50. Manual locker. Add in radial tires. And do chunky off-road tires. I think we'll leave it. 173. 175. That's close. Drop down. Brake bias. Under tray unneeded. No entertainment. No power steering. Give them basic safety. Aggressive springs. They don't want that. How's she looking now? Is there any other categories that really pop out? Nope. This is a budget utility vehicle. Well, that didn't help much. Bring rate about there. A little bit there. We use the sway bars rather than camber to adjust the drivability. They really like it cheap. Alright. And we have our skating going on. Not as a passenger van, but now as a utility vehicle. Well, it's still pretty competitive in the family utility budget. Well, let me check my demographics. We have the family utility budget which is a pretty large market, and then we have the utility budget, which is also a pretty large market. Leave it at the utility budget then. Or have the factory tooled out. Make it, spend a little money, make it cheaper. Quality, we can lag behind a little bit. Engineering wise, I want to keep this pretty short. Liability, I wouldn't mind pumping up just a bit, keeping everything else low. Add a little pressure, they're not going to learn too much from this vehicle. Alright, pump it up all the way. And we'll drop the funding. Oh, that makes it a lot cheaper. Maybe I shouldn't spend the money on the reliability. Oh yeah, it's a whole lot cheaper. We're looking at a need of about 4,000 engines. Let's go look at the engine project again. The engine factory at 7,000. Make it a little bit cheaper that way. Sign off on that factory. And then pump up. Drop funding. I want to keep this relatively cheap. Don't care about what they learn from it. There's not that much to learn. Liability is good. We'll bump it up a little bit more. And it was about 4,000. We need to get up to 4,000. Alright, let's drop the reliability down to 65. Throw a little money. I think that's as close as I'm going to get. Sign off on the engine. Forecaster looks good. Leave it at the default. There we go. Grumbles in 2 years. Then we have our drumsticks, which haven't really been on the market that long, or have they? They have not been on the market that long. Year and a half. Grumbles are going to come out 1961, so are the Rodzinas. Ah, I forgot to set the Grumble. Add in Fruinia. But it's too late. Okay, they won't get sold in Fruinia. It's not like Fruinians are going to buy a lot of those. And we'll limit it to that. Should be everything for now. Because I don't want to end the episode quite yet without advancing time some. Let's see what happens. One new competitor. New competitor. Losing money. Pretty steadily at that. Got 2.5 million in costs. Let's pause this track vehicle. Pause the skating. There we go. Gets us into the positive again. Ooh, skating already blew out their stocks. Transverse four-wheel drive, that'll be useful. No taxes. 2 new cars this month. Economy's booming. And the GT car is not selling. We need to drop that down. Actually, the SS isn't really selling either. We might have to do a facelift on them, especially once we get what we do for a loan. Monthly payments of 11 for do 5 years. Guess a little spending money. And then we can marketing dealerships. There we go. 12,000 in marketing in Archana. Do want to open up the Fruinian market. Get a basis. And I want to add to the Archana market. Then we'll take the Grot, which is not successful. Go to its engine. Does the engine really need a facelift? Have been anything that's been added that really needed? Well, I can spend the time. Might as well. So this will be the 61. Take a look at her engine. Doing forged, might as well do all forged. And also bump up the compression just a tad. Single barrel twin, there's no restriction on the intakes. Go with performance intakes. Don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. Two barrel wouldn't do anything. Could switch to DCOE. Kinda like that concept. Oh, and I can twin carve it. Twin DCOE. Okay, this is turning out to be quite a significant improvement to this engine. Oh yeah, have it suck down all the gas. And we can really ramp up the compression. Advance the timing slightly. We're looking at 94 horsepower. 97 horsepower. Not much wiggle room though. So I think I will go with fire compression. That puts us at 95, which was higher than before, with a better power curve. No need for any of that over there. That is over my decibel level, but does sound nice. Well, she doesn't lose too much of her sound with a muffler. So is it worth it? It's $100 more, less fuel efficient, costs more to run it, less reliable, way more responsive, lighter weight by a hair, and we jump almost 10 horsepower. I'm all about it. So we facelift this one as well. Include both. We update the engine to the new one. 12S 95. Look at the SS 61. Which that is not the appropriate. It says GT, we want Sport. We don't want GT Premium, we want GT. Alright, let's see what we got. I had her really dialed in. Not gonna change. We could make lighter rims. The magnesium rims. Switch to solid disc brakes. Front and back. Looking at 135. Okay, yeah, 135. Solid disc brakes front and back. Right there. Oversize the brakes in the rear a little bit to bring the brake fade down. No under tray needed. From brake airflow? No, not helping. Interior should already be ideal. And just add a little bit of a better radio. Except that makes it a lot heavier. Leave that out. We'll keep the basic radio though. No need for power steering. Oh, they do like the progressive brakes. Already seems pretty well dialed in. No need to adjust. I think we'll send her on her way. Now for the GT. No changes there. Do like the sports compound. Magnesium rims, of course. There's some prestige to that. Solid disc brakes, front and back. There we go. Eliminate a little bit of the brake fade. I'm happy with that. Semi-clad under tray. Definitely benefits. A little bit of cooling, which is fine. Handmade interior. Also go for the luxury AM radio now. Hurts on a lot of categories. Definitely helps with prestige though. Hydraulics preferred. Suspension aggressive. Then we want to tweak the suspension. Shouldn't need too much tweaking. I like the comfort. Comfort is good for a GT car. Loosen up the front sway bar, and there we go. We have our GT car. A little bit low on the scoring. 5 competing trims, wow. That's what we have to work with. Production. We already have our factory, which, before I forget, station selected, all. Brought factory is exactly where it needs to be. Small one, we have our galvanization plant, because we could. One. Don't want this factory to cost anything extra. Looking at very few cars, very expensive, doesn't matter. And make them a little bit more reliable. Three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll get them out in 2 years. we need 65 engines. Got plenty with that. Make the engines pretty cheap. Don't really need to. No tooling. Improve the process. Much like we did the car. Improve the reliability. More process. Drop the cost. Pump up some pressure. Bring down the funding. We'll spend roughly 2 million. A bit more. And there we go. We'll learn a lot in the interim as well. 11 million, 15, 18. I'm looking for a quick payback. We need to get as much money out of this as we can in the short time that we'll have available. So we'll go ahead and get these cars signed off. I think they will do decently in Fruinia.